Hi everyone, welcome to Restorative Yin for Sleep. My name is Jay McMahon and alongside me is Francis Plain. Today we'll be doing a 50-minute class of just stretches and relaxation. Hopefully they will help you relax and possibly sleep better. We're going to begin this class with a supported Shavasana. So grab some blocks and just put them beneath your knees so your legs are just slightly bent. Allow the head to weigh heavy into the floor, the shoulder blades, arms all the way down your back. Take this time to release any tension that you might have coming into this. Allow the thoughts to become quiet and remind them that they will be there when you're completed this. And now as you lay here, just take nice, soft, slow inhales and soft, slow exhales. In case this is your first Yin class ever, Yin classes are slow-paced class. Not much needs to be said from me. The idea is to stretch deep into the ligaments and tendons of the body and give your body permission to feel those stretches. Each posture is held for 3 to 5 to 7 minutes. And we definitely aren't in any hurry today. Now our time's done in this posture. We begin to move just really gently. Everything we do in a yin class is done just with kindness and at a really slow pace. The next posture we're going to take here is what's called banana asana. I'm sure there's more, there's different names, Sanskrit names, but ultimately you end up looking like a bit of a banana. So we walk the heels over to the right corner of the mat, with the arms extended above the head. We grab the right wrist with the left hand. And we just stretch into that side body. As you can see, I grabbed a block because sometimes our shoulders are so tight that the hands will just hover above the floor. And after a few minutes, the shoulders get tired and the hands might get numb. So we want to put that block there to support. The left leg does not need to be crossed over if that's too intense on your side body or on your hip. And now softly close your eyes and breathe into those outer ribs. And just take notice of where you feel it in your body, because that's exactly where you need it. Soft, slow inhales. Soft, slow exhales. At times, the thoughts might bubble up in your head and try to take over. And I encourage you to just remind them that they will be there when you're done, and there's nothing you can do about them now. And in taking this time for yourself to be calm, to have some silence, you'll awaken rejuvenated and ready to tackle either sleep, the day, or whatever life has to bring you. Now we transition to the other side. You'll notice the hips stay in the center of the mat, and it's the feet and the arms that create the arch in the body. So you may be tempted to lift that right hip up, but I want you to keep it down. And just allow the rest of the body to stretch around that. Now breathe so deep, breathe as though those right side ribs will inflate and just that one lung inflates. I know that doesn't actually happen, but I want to visualize that, the air going into the lung and expanding those intercostal muscles in the ribs so I can breathe easier. Deep, soft, slow inhales and equal exhales. And as we come out of this posture, we're going to move into a really comfy one. So if you happen to have a pillow or a bolster, as Francis and I might have here, definitely grab that for this one. You'll need it so you can ease into the posture and not create an intensity that is uncomfortable for you. So we're going to cross one leg under the other. Just keep note of which one it is. Now we can grab the blocks or the bolsters. I'm just setting the timer there. And we lean forward. I call this a seated forward fold. In this, I find people have very tight hips, or perhaps it's their lower back that really needs it. The use of the block and the bolsters to support yourself so you can relax your entire body and just let the stretch happen where your body needs it. I'm not supporting myself by my elbows. It's the bolster that's supporting me. And Frances is using a block to support her head because having her head on the floor might be too intense for this length of time. So it's important you know your body. And you commit to yourself that you're going to hold this posture as long as I say. Now do your best to take those same deep inhales and deep exhales, even though we're kind of crunched forward now. And just relax. Now, because we hold these postures for so long, sometimes as you're in them, you actually get more flexible. So you can see I put the bolster down because I don't need to be up that high anymore. I'm not feeling what I need to feel in this posture. So I come down a little lower by adjusting the bolster. Not quite ready to come all the way down, so I use a block to support. Because I don't want it too intense, I want to be able to breathe. So I just make those adjustments, but all other movement stops. Usually halfway through a posture where we have our heads turned, we turn our head in the other direction because sometimes the neck begins to get achy or hurt, so we sometimes need to turn the head. Soft, slow inhales and soft, slow exhales. going to come out of the seated forward fold. And sometimes after a posture that we've held, we get a little achy. It's tough to move, and that's all right. We've just hit some deep areas. So now we're going to go into a nice relaxing hip stretch. It's called deer. So if you've ever done yoga, you can do a pigeon. This is deer. It's a little easier if you've got really tight hips. So as you'll notice how we're setting up here, I want to cross either leg. So in this case, I put my right leg in front and my left leg is in behind. I like to press that back leg into the sole of my front foot. And then I fold forward just as we did before, but I'm able to twist a little more and open up that right hip in a posture that's not incredibly intense, but after 5 minutes, it sure feels good. With yin, sometimes at the beginning of the posture, it may seem like it's too easy, but when we hold it for that extended period of time, we really get to feel the juicy goodness of a yin class. So again, we're stretching into the tendons and the ligaments that surround the joints. And the best way to do that is to hold these postures for 3 to 5 to 7 minutes, and some can be held longer. Once you know your body, you'll know what feels right. Soft, slow inhales and soft, slow exhales. And that's all you need to do right now. And that's our time on this side. We move to the other side. So whatever leg was not in front before, we then move that to be in our front body to forward fold over top of it. I'm just setting up the time here. I like to be accurate. So now that we've done that stretch on the one side, our bodies kind of know what to expect and how deep we should go and how intense we want it. And it's the beauty of doing lots of yoga. We get to really understand our body, and if we're into pushing the limits and wanting to go a little deeper, a little more intense, we can do that. But it takes a little practice to do that, a little time to get to know yourself. So find that comfort here and return to those breaths. Deep, soft, slow inhales in, and deep, soft, slow exhales out. So let's come out of that deer pose, and we're going to take a great one, one I really have been enjoying. It's a bit of a different take on what we call a Sphinx pose in yoga. So we start on our belly, and our elbows are beneath the shoulders. Now our elbows are going to support some of our weight here. And then what we're going to do is, once we're set up, the first version is we can just stay upright, just like Francis is doing here. The second version I like to try is I put a block beneath my head to support my neck so I could really relax into this. So here as I hold, I notice that my lower back begins to kind of stretch in a bit of a different way. My front body gets a very mild stretch, but after a little while you feel these stretches. That's the idea, yin. So again, you can have no blocks and your head is upright and you're facing forward. Or you can put a couple blocks to support your forehead to really focus that on the back and the front body. Return to those breaths. If you've had a stressful long day and you happen to be doing this in the evening, you're going to have a great sleep tonight if you just remember to breathe, remember to try and do your best to quiet the thoughts down by focusing on the breath. Deep, soft, slow inhales, and equally soft and slow exhales. And be aware of your lower back and notice if there's any pinching. We don't want any sort of pain in these postures. Stretching and achy is okay, but sharp pain is definitely to be avoided. And this is, the more you get to know your body, the more you'll understand your capabilities and what you need out of these classes. Our class, or any class for that matter. And so as our time comes to an end on that posture, I like to lay down flat just to really let that back lengthen after that. If you bend your knees, then you can tick-tock your feet left and right, and it provides a little release on the lower back. Now let's move forward here for our next posture. It's going to be child's pose with the legs wide. That's one I usually cue in my classes. I like the legs wide so my big body can fit between my thighs. And then I can place a bolster beneath my body. You can also pull the bolster back beneath your hips if your hips or knees are tight, because sometimes we feel that in the hips or even the ankles. So there's some variations here. So depending on the equipment that you have, the body that you brought to your class today, take the time to make those adjustments so you can get the very most out of this 50-minute class. This is another one of those postures where we'll turn our heads after about halfway through just to help the pressure on the neck. So as you can see, Frances's head is right on the floor. Now she could just stay there because her hips are flexible. And if her head doesn't have the support of the floor, that's when we'd put a block beneath the forehead. We don't want the neck strained in any way or hanging there. We want to be able to release totally. So no part of my body is supporting me. The bolster's doing all the work, or the floor is doing all the work for Frances. And as you're here, inhale and let your belly button come towards the floor, and the ribs maybe press into your thighs. And then as you exhale, draw that belly button into your spine and pull the ribs into your sides, away from the legs. Inhale and exhale. No matter what the intensity level is, commit to yourself that you can stay here for the 5 minutes we'll be here. Now after a little while, usually about halfway through, I'll turn my head, so go ahead and do that. And then sink right back down into your breathing rhythm. Let nothing distract you. This is your time on your mat. No spouses, no kids, no coworkers, no anything. This is your time. Give yourself this gift. I'm just resetting the time there. For the last posture of this class, we're going to take a supported bridge. So we're going to come into a place where we'd be able to push the hips up. And then I'm going to slide the bolster beneath my lower back, just around the tailbone area. You'll feel it on yourself where it's a good fit. Now my legs are still bent. Francis is using 2 blocks. The foam blocks are the best, or a bolster, something soft here, because the weight of the hips after a while will definitely begin to feel that. Now you can keep your legs bent, or you can extend them. So in this stretch, I'm definitely stretching the front body, my core, my hip flexors, my psoas, everything that gets tight while we bike, while we hike, while we sit on the computer and do our Zoom meetings. This stretches us in the opposite direction. You can even get more intense if you're a particularly bendy person by adjusting the blocks to be at the highest setting, or use a couple of bolsters. Whatever makes you feel like you're getting the most out of the practice. Inhale, I allow my belly button to lift towards the ceiling. And as I exhale, I really try to pull it into my spine. I like that feeling of sort of engaging the transverse abdominal as I exhale. So see what feels good. Now you'll notice my hands are above my head. I like that full stretch. Frances got her hands by her hips. Don't turn your head left or right. Just feel whatever part of your body is touching the mat, and feel it anchor down into the mat. Breathe in and breathe out. And that's all you got to do here. Now to come out of this posture, we pull the legs back, press into the feet, and pull the bolt blocks or bolsters out of the way. Take an opposing stretch, so I bring my knees into my body and just rock a little bit left and rock a little bit right. And now we roll all the way back up. And if you can believe it, that's our class for today. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure you did really well. Do it often. And thank you for joining Francis and I. We hope to see you again. Namaste, everybody.